Jon Fortenbury, who's an award-winning writer, comedian, and filmmaker. He's written for the likes of Playboy and The Atlantic, and has 2 short films that many consider not terrible. He's met Bill Murray twice, Sarah Jessica Parker once, and Taylor Swift not yet, but one day. He's also from Vegas, so what happens in Vegas, you know the rest, gets brought up at family reunions. And where is he? Jon? Jon, come on out.
I'm gonna move this. Don't want the stand to sabotage my art. Maybe. Okay, this is not working out.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
You got it? Thank you.
I got this.
Extra.
Thanks. Guys, so I'm a bit of a hoarder. One thing that I collect are papers that I wrote, and I recently found one called Hell in a Movie Theater. It's about my first date. And I was reading it, it's very negative, and that's surprising to me because in recent years I've told this story as a comedy. So here's what happened. I was 16, so a little bit of a late bloomer. Any other late bloomers here? Yes. My people are here. Let's hang out and be late to see things, I don't know. I was 16 and her name was Kelsey. You can look her up. I don't care that I said her real name. Feel free to message her later. And I was very surprised when she said yes. I repeated the question. I was like, "You sure? Like, with me? A date outside of me? Okay." So the plan was we would see the movie Lord of the Rings 2, which I hadn't seen the first one. So a few hours before the date, I watched it, and I actually fell asleep. So I don't know what happens in that movie. So we drove. My mom drove us, which I had a driver's license, but in Nevada there's this law that if you haven't driven for a couple months, you're not allowed to drive anyone else. And I was super into following the rules, which is like every teenage girl's dream trait in the guy. So my mom drives us, and we pick her up, and she's waiting outside of the house, which at the time I thought like this is. The way I worded it was psychotic, creepy. I was like, why don't you want me to meet your father? Like, what are you hiding? But now I'm just excited when anyone's on time because I think that's a miracle. So my mom drives us to the movie theater, and my date and my mom, they're hitting it off. Way better than we ever did.
They stay in the car, you going for the movie.
Yeah. So I was like, whose side are you on? So my mom drops us off, and we go to buy our ticket, and she wouldn't let me buy hers for feminism reasons, which I felt emasculated, but now I always suggest splitting the bill for feminism or whatever. So we walk into the theater, and the ticket taker lady's talking really fast, so I start laughing. And Kelsey, she yells at me for being so rude, which is, even then, it was my first date, and I was like, this can't be good. Like, pretty sure I'm not gonna get any lip action later. So we walk into the movie, and before the movie starts, she starts talking about how much she loves the first one. I was like, yeah, it's good, Elijah Wood. I don't, just total lies. And the movie starts, and I start playing what I refer to in this essay as the hand game. Very simple premise, you hold her hand. It took me about 45 minutes to pull this off. Because my hand was just sort of like inching over toward her hand. You can't see it because it's too slow for the human eye, but actually, sorry, I just realized I would have got there sooner if it was inching. Millimetering? Yeah, okay. My hand was millimetering over toward her hand. Finally, my pinky took one for the team and just slightly brushed up against her pinky, just ever so slight. And her pinky must have been turned on by it because we locked pinkies. Okay. had one finger down, 4 to go. Now, you think that'd be good enough evidence for me to go for the rest of the hand? It wasn't. I couldn't prove that she even knew it was happening. It could have been like a reflex. So I needed another finger to be sure. So I millimetered my ring finger over, and I did this awkward ring finger extension, which I'm now realizing the science doesn't make sense. And my ring finger just tapped her ring finger like, knock, knock, he's there. And now we had 2 fingers locked. So for most people, that'd be good enough evidence to go for the rest of the hand. I still wasn't sure. Maybe she's a 2-finger hand holder. Maybe she found my other fingers to be just absolutely deplorable. I needed one more to be sure. So I started millimetering my middle finger over, and thankfully, a jumpy part of the movie happens, and we're holding hands. Okay? I'm feeling super victorious. Despite the absolutely cowardly way I won this war. But then 10 minutes later, she gets up to go to the bathroom and have to start all over. And that's why I have no idea what happens in Lord of the Rings 2. So, after the movie, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, she held my hands. Maybe I can go in for a kiss. So, I start leaning in. She's not leaning back like halfway. Like, I'm just waiting. And then her mom pops up out of the shadows. Just ruins that dream. And she seemed way too eager for her mom to show up. She's like, thank you. And her mom drove us home. And I blasted emo music in defeat. So that's my first date. Now, not quite hell, right? But that's because I added in punchlines, okay? When I wrote this essay, it was a very negative essay. The way I told it was, went on this date with a girl, our parents drove us, she wouldn't let me meet her dad, my mom and her had a great time. She wouldn't let me pay for her ticket, she yelled at me before we got to the movie, I struggled to hold her hand, she wouldn't let me kiss her at the end. But the story I just told you was a funnier story because in recent years I went back to that story, like comedians do, and I found the punchlines. And that actually affected the way I view the event. So, like, we all have this option. Things that happen to us in our life, you can go back, you can find the punchline, you can find the perspective, and tell it in a new way. And I think that's important because the way we tell a story is how we view the event, and life is just a bunch of events. So then you have a more positive outlook on life. I'm also grateful because now she's married with 3 kids living in Florida, which, so if we had a great date and we hopped into a long-term successful relationship, those kids wouldn't exist. Also, who wants to live in Florida? That sounds terrible. So I dodged a bullet. All right, thank you.
How about one more time for Jon?